my question that I have right now is, how are you going to know if this is working? Like, at what point are you going to be like, this is successful? Is this a whole year experiment, or are you going to understand at a certain point? Like, how are you going to track how are you going to track their progress to make sure that they're moving through these prerequisite skills, or if they are if they're actually learning the prerequisite skills?
This might come off as too arrogant, but I'm going to say it anyway.
All right.
This will work.
Welcome to the Gamify Education Podcast.
I feel like and I don't know if other educators feel like this, but like summertime comes around and I feel like a weight is lifted off of my shoulders. Not because I don't love my job and not because I don't enjoy being in school, but just like the mental load of the day-to-day of being a teacher and the amount of like little tasks that you have to handle and the schedules being on schedule. Like coming into the summertime, it's just like it's a moment of just like relief for me.
I think every teacher in America feels the same way.
I don't know.
Yes.
I've heard stories of teachers who are like, I hate summertime. I don't know. Is that not true? No.
I don't think you're right on this one.
I remember I had a high school teacher. His name was Mr. Humphrey, and he was retiring the year that I was taking AP government from him. And he said, the thing I'm looking forward to the most about retirement is throwing away every clock and watch I own. Because as a teacher, you live by the clock, you live by your watch. And so he was just ready to never have to look at the clock again. And I thought that was like a cool idea. All right, Mr. Becker, today I wanted to talk about our year in review. Kind of like, how'd your year go? What'd you do? And then how are you going to use that information headed into this next school year? Do you want to start us off, or do you want me to start us off?
I'll start us off.
All right.
So I teach 7th grade math. I teach 8th grade math. I teach Algebra 1 and 2. All the 7th graders. Second year of doing this at this new middle school. Culture of the building, super good. However, I tried to put like the performance and the results like at the very top again.
Yeah.
And this is the trap I always fall into with it, is that performance, results, this is number one. And then if I can bring a little more fun into it, well, then that's just going to be like the gravy on top.
Yeah.
And what I've realized again now for the second time in my teaching career is that's not right. And I don't know why I default to that. Is I've had so many students come up to me at the end of the year because I did the same type of thing in my own classrooms that we're doing right now.
Right.
I said, okay, let's kind of recap the year. Let's talk about the things that went well, the things that didn't.
Sure.
And I mean, there were definitely good things. Overall, I mean, my students did grow in test scores.
Yeah.
But it was nothing like our last year together in 5th grade.
Right.
If I would have surveyed these kids, there's no way that the overall impact of the year would have been as high as when we asked our students.
So I'm going to, just to be fair to you, you moved from a position in which you were very comfortable with the content. You had already made so much math material for teaching 5th grade. We had designed and built an ELA curriculum for 5th grade. We had the learning materials hammered out. We had worked with 5th graders for so many years. We knew kind of the ins and outs of doing that before taking this on. And so there were so many known knowns when we did this. You went into middle school with this idea of like, oh, these kids are going to be here. And little did you know that their performance was not much better than a 5th grader. And so you spent the first year basically designing all of your learning targets and assessments and figuring out how to teach 3 preps with 1 prep period and how to fit everything into a 47-minute class period.
But that's where my frustration comes in. That was year 1. I just finished year 2. Like, with all this stuff in place, I thought this year would have been better than the first year, and it wasn't.
However, you did have a student teacher for a large portion of the year, and we all know that mileage varies on the quality of student teacher.
Yeah, even without the student teacher, I'm not sure I would have felt differently at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I really do think it's because I did less gamifying my classroom than the first year.
Yeah, I know. The first year you did quite a bit of stuff, and you brought in, I remember you, like within the first month, you had designed this whole tote system for dealing with XP with 150 students. And I mean, that's so unmanageable. Like,
I'm doing it next year.
That's not sustainable.
We're doing it. We're going to try something.
Okay. But you have this whole new mindset for how to teach Math 7. Do you want to talk about that, or do you want to save that for a later date?
All right. So I have this idea.
Okay.
And I want to create Math 7 into a giant world map. Like, think Super Mario World from Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Or even like Mario 3.
Mario
Nintendo.
3 is what my brain... I didn't have an SNES.
Yeah, a Sega person.
Yes.
Anyway, so this whole idea is going to be that students get an individual map, they get an individual character, and they get to move around the map.
Okay.
The map is the world of Battle Masters.
Uh-huh.
So I'm bringing this 4th grade game, making it into 7th grade, and we're gonna play it. We're gonna collect cards. We're gonna get bonuses. We're gonna play bosses, which is gonna be me with a specific deck of cards.
Okay.
And then there's a final boss that has an ultimate deck of cards. So the map itself is made up of levels, which are going to be a combination of the Math 7 standards.
Uh-huh.
But also I'm throwing in this idea of prerequisites.
Right.
So they're going to have to take a pre-assessment. They're going to go down this portal or something. And they're going to go back in time to assess, so I can assess what they should have learned all the way from 3rd grade up until 6th grade.
7th grade?
Oh, the prereqs would be 3rd through 6th.
Gotcha. Okay.
So after the student shows mastery of the prerequisites, then they can attempt to take a little quiz on the 7th grade learning targets. And I don't have all the details worked out or anything like that, but it's almost going to be like the small group instruction type of thing. Like, hey, who's working on 1C right now? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have them like write on a little like laminate part of their desk, like what they're working on. Like some kids will write 1C, or some kids will write like PR3, which is prerequisite 3.
Right.
So then I can just go around the room and I say, okay, you're working on this. Do you need any help? Or everybody who's on 1C, all right, come to the board. I want to give you a little mini lesson on this.
So when you say, what are you working on? What will the students be like specifically working on? I'm wrapping my head around this as you're talking. Like, what does that mean? What are you working on? Like, what are they doing during that time while you're teaching your mini lesson?
Well, they're trying to learn.
From what?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I'm thinking right now there's going to be like a packet or a folder of materials and links to videos or actual like little anchor tasks that they could do at their desk.
Okay.
So like think about success criteria. And these are the things that you need to be able to know before you should feel confident in taking the quiz.
So are you going to make like videos that you post, or are you going to have links to Khan Academy lessons? Like what's the what's the mode in which they're going to gain instruction?
I think a combination, honestly, and a kind of like let the kids choose what they want and what modality they want to do it in. The dream is that I would make every lesson a video.
Yeah.
But right now, probably link them to Khan Academy videos or other YouTube videos.
I mean, they're so good. The Khan Academy lessons are so solid. And it's like, why reinvent the wheel? I mean, you have all the videos you made for 5th grade when we were in COVID.
Yep.
You have a video for every single learning target. So, like, that's a good chunk of the prereqs right there.
And I only have, I tried to pick the most essential prerequisites. I think I only have 27, even though I made over 70 of the 5th grade videos. It's just, I went through it and I said to myself, okay, what would be something that for sure is going to make a kid not be able to be successful on this Math 7?
Yeah.
Not like, oh, you can't tell time on an analog clock.
Right.
You're not going to need to know that to solve for X.
Right.
So it's, I don't know. It's going to be more of a choose your own adventure. And then they're passing levels to earn treasure chests. And what I think one of the best or the coolest things about this is it's all in order.
Yeah.
So from day one, a student could go up the cliffs and go to the cloud world. And all of a sudden they're in topic 6, which we wouldn't have got to until March, but they could do it the first week of school because there's not very much prerequisite knowledge.
Okay.
But in topic 1 is going to lead to 2, which is going to lead to 4, which is going to lead to 5, because you need so much of the stuff in 1 in order to be successful at 5. So it's almost like a way of making the prerequisite knowledge not just from previous grades, but from within Math 7 itself.
Which makes sense.
And that is something I did not do at all. And I think that was a big reason for some of my failure of getting these students who were a level 1 in 6th grade, that they stayed a level 1 in 7th grade. Because we didn't focus enough on, you can't add fractions that are just positive numbers. Right. And here I am trying to make you do it with negatives as well.
So my question that I have right now is, how are you going to know if this is working? At what point are you going to be like, this is successful? Is this a whole year experiment? Or are you going to understand at a certain point? How are you going to track how are you going to track their progress to make sure that they're moving through these prerequisite skills, or if they are if they're actually learning the prerequisite skills?
This might come off as too arrogant, but I'm going to say it anyway.
All right.
This will work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel so firmly in this idea as much as I felt firmly our last year of 5th grade playing that dungeon game.
So when you say this will work, this will do what? What is this going to accomplish? How are you going to, that's my question. By what metric will this work?
Well,
how are you going to measure your success?
Yeah, first of all, I think the metrics, any standardized test is going to show that this is going to work. And then the survey at the end of the year is going to show that the kids loved it.
Okay. You heard it here first.
I know.
So we'll check back in a year.
Well, okay, let me walk back just a second. Comparatively love it.
Yeah.
All this discourse that I had with the students this year of saying, Mr. Becker, there was no fun. I didn't enjoy it. Yeah. Most of the kids, they didn't hate it, but they didn't enjoy it.
Right.
And this will bring fun, and this is going to increase student learning.
Yeah, you're differentiating at an individual level. That's just good practice.
Right.
So
That's what I'm saying, that this is going to work.
Instead of trying to say like, I need to take this group of Math 7 kids who are level 1s, this like large group of students who are, significantly behind their peers or where they're expected to be according to like current achievement standards, and saying like, I need to get them to a level 3 by the end of the year. You're saying, I just need to get them to learn. Like, I need to meet them where they're at, and then I need to try to fill their gaps the best I can, and then we're going to learn. And then the results from that are going to be the results from that. And so, like you said, before you were trying to put like achievement above all, like I need to have this success and do this and prove this. And now you're putting the student.
Achievement at 7th grade.
Right.
Which is, I think, a huge problem.
Right. But you're moving from like, I think there's an important shift here in your mindset. You're moving to a student-focused mindset. Like I need to, this isn't about me pushing the kids. This is about the kids enjoying math again and feeling like they have success again within math. And then once you get that success, you can start building that positive feedback loop.
And I think so much of that is that for a while now, a year and a half, that they have not tasted success.
Yeah. A taste of success.
I know.
That's hearkening back to a really old time.
When I used to throw mints at the kids.
Yeah,
when you used of success.
You used candy as a...
I know. And that's where we have to start.
Yeah.
We have to get these kids once again confident of, oh wait, I can do some math.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go from there.
Right.
And then we're going to try to get the 7th grade stuff. That's still the goal.
Right.
But if you don't make it there, but you grew a ton, I still think that's a successful year.
Absolutely. There's 2 things by which we judge ourselves in education. It's growth and achievement. And both are equally valid. Like exceptional growth and exceptional achievement are both like great things. I'm equally proud of those 2 things.
So in quarter 4 this year, to put a bow on it, in quarter 4, I gave them like a 12-page end-of-year test. I called it the finale.
Yeah.
Not a final. So parents wouldn't get mad at me and say, you have a final. No, it's called the finale.
Yeah.
And it was so we had 40 learning targets, 5 questions each. So a total of 200 questions. Some of it they were able to use a calculator. Some of it they were not. If they got a 4 or 5 right, I gave them a star.
Okay.
Which meant that they were proficient enough. I mean, and these were basic problems.
Right.
Like, these were not like long word problems or
Right,
anything
right.
like that. And I made a chart about them. I tracked their progress. They had a tracking progress sheet. And after the finale, there were a ton of kids that out of the 40, they earned less than 12.
That's not good.
I know.
Right.
And I'm like, you didn't learn so much in what we were doing.
You learned like a quarter of what you were supposed to learn.
And I asked the kids, I said, hey, what model did you like better?
Yeah.
Quarter 1, 2, and 3 or quarter 4? And it kind of surprised me. The kids who said they liked the model in quarter 1, 2, and 3, they were the minority. But they were also the highest kids in Math 7.
Yeah. They're the ones who were finding success.
And the ones that said, no. Kind of when I was on my own, I was doing my own thing. You did the mini lessons. I watched videos. We even used generative AI to say, hey, give me 5 more problems like this and check them. And they were the ones that said, no, I kind of wish that the whole year was like that.
Yeah. So we're going to have a whole podcast on the psychology of Gamify Education, and specifically what you're talking about, a key feature is autonomy. Like that ability to say like, oh, this is what I want to work on right now. That is so deeply ingrained in motivational psychology, and it makes complete sense as you're speaking. I'm like, yeah, of course they want And as the older you get, the more freedom you want, right? You don't want to be told exactly what to do all the time. You want to have that choice. And even if it's like just the choice of doing two things that you normally wouldn't want to do, the fact that you have the choice to pick one or the other, it gives you a psychological motivational bump where you're going to be like, oh, I chose this one, so I'm going to get to work on it. It's real.
And I think that there's tremendous magic in this world map idea because of the fact that you don't have to do 1A at the very beginning.
Yeah.
No kid is going to look at another kid and say, oh, you're stuck on 1A.
Right.
Well, they could have done the cloud world. They could have done this. They could have done that. And they could have been further ahead than the kid who was trying to mock them for not being done with 1A because they did all this other stuff.
Well, not only that, what you've done is something that I've been wanting to do for years. You've created essentially like a family tree of math skills. And so you can see where the branches come back to like the main trunks from elementary school. And
you want to hear my ultimate idea?
Sure. Let's hit me with it.
It wouldn't be a Math 7 world map.
Right.
It would be a 3 through 8 world map.
Right.
In which somehow we would have to find all the prereqs or whatever.
I've been working on that for a while. I have a good outline of how you get from a kindergarten skill to a high school skill, because I'm fascinated by this concept because they really do build off of each other. They're like bricks in a wall, and you need each layer of skills to be able to support the next layer of bricks on the wall. And just this idea that you're going to, even going back to this topic, but this idea that you're going to skip a child forward above 6th grade to 7th grade, you're missing an entire layer of bricks. It doesn't matter how bright they are. If they don't have those skills, then they have literal gaps.
Right.
Yeah. All right. You going to ask me how my year's going or how my year went? This is a year in review.
I feel like this. Oh, goodness. I feel like this is a Mr. Becker podcast of year in review.
Well,
yes. Yes, Mr. Lamberson. How did your year go?
Great. My year was great. I had a number of things that were like not related to Gamify Education that were huge wins. Just school-wide stuff, like attendance was way up in our school this year.
Can't learn if you're not there.
You can't learn if you're not there. And so my principal, Angela, and I really did some cool stuff with attendance this year, just incentivizing and trying to motivate students to get to school. And there was something fascinating that we found.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like we used... we did like this whole thing. So we have 4 houses at our school. We called them dens. It's the whole Harry Potter house system. We stole it from Ron Clark.
Who stole it from Harry Potter?
Who stole it from Harry Potter, which is just apparently how they do it in England. But anyway, so we have colors red, blue, green, and yellow. Mm-hmm. And so we did this attendance challenge. If your class had perfect attendance, you got a letter, and at the end of spelling the word, you got a red treat. So red was licorice, and I know we don't love treats, but something fascinating happened at the end. When they ran out of treats for yellow, spelling yellow, they got popcorn, which isn't a bad treat. Like, that's not sugary. But then after that, I just started giving stars, and the stars didn't mean anything. Like, what do we get for the stars? Like, nothing. The stars are just like to show off to the rest of the school. The stars were more motivating to students than the treats were. Like, once a class got to star level, they were badgering their peers to get to school so they could get another star. The star was meaningless. And I was fascinated by that. And so specifically last year, we had like February's attendance was hot garbage in the previous school year, and January's, and our attendance, that's when we did this challenge, and we had like above 90% every day in those months, except for maybe like one day that was like a half day before a 3-day weekend.
Sure.
Which, fair, whatever.
We talked about this in the book a little bit, and that was the whole point of making that Hall of Fame, was that there's something about legacy.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that.
Right.
Like, it wasn't meaningless in the sense of like a treat, because it showed how good they were.
Yeah. But like going back to my year in review, like specifically talking about like Gamify stuff, I worked with a second grade teacher. Last year we started gamifying her classroom. She's using Racing Dragons, and she has just run with this thing. She has her own cards that she's made for it. She has all these like different rewards that the kids can earn in the game. And so I've been working with her, and her student growth percentile, which is like one of the main metrics that we use for like showing how well a class is doing, especially in second grade where there's no like state test, was the highest in the grade level, one of the highest in the school. So that was pretty cool. And like, I'm going to throw this out here right now. These teachers are great. Like I work with a school of exceptional educators. And so I am not taking credit for their work or their performance. It is just like, it's cool for me to see teachers be successful. And when it's teachers that I specifically work with, I find it fun, and I like to brag on them. So in an earlier podcast, we spent a podcast talking about this third grade classroom that I was working in. And it was about the simplest game that we could think of. That was our working title. It's probably not going to be the title, because I like to find like funny little things within the podcast that we say to make the title. But in this classroom ended up gamifying and mostly using math and Khan Academy, and ended up having 75% passing on the SBA for math, which at a Title I school is phenomenal. And again, I'm not taking away from the work of this teacher, because she's a great educator. But there is like that motivational bump is real. Like she outperformed all the other third grade teachers in math. And it's just cool to see the teachers you're working with performing high. One of our colleagues that we have both worked with, I want to have her on the podcast, Mary Carper, one of my favorite humans. She just tore it up this year in both ELA and math. She was above 70 passing in both ELA and math. And she was one that we were talking about. She's just like, man, Mr. Lamberson, I just can't get these kids to work independently. Like, they don't want to do it. They whine and they gripe and they complain. And she's like, how did you do it? And I was like, honestly, the best system I had was gamifying my classroom. Like, it worked, and I didn't have to put a lot into it. And so I went in and I was like, I can run this for you, Mary. Like, I can do this. Like, you don't have to put a lot of effort into it. Like, it just works. And so I gamified her classroom, which then like bled over into all the other classrooms. And so all of fifth grade ended up gamified by the end of the year. And we had this big end of the year tournament where the students battled each other, and it was a lot of fun. But all that to say that she became like one of the biggest advocates for the system. It's not like she's going out and being like, you have to do this. She says, I don't get it. She's like, I don't understand why it works, but the kids didn't want to do their work before, and now all they want to do is work. And I love that quote, and that's why I ended up being able to go work with this third grade teacher, is because she just got convinced by Mary Carper of like, well, if it works, it works. So let's just use this thing. And so it was just neat to see other teachers start to understand the power of like the motivational psychology and the power of motivational play through, gamifying your classroom. Motivational play, to remember.
Yeah, we were going
to make that a thing. I know you italicized it in the book. I was reading that. Motivational play. Yeah. But for real, like the idea of motivational play is real. And so to see them understand the reality of that, it was really neat. And so as of right now, I think fifth grade's on board for gamifying the whole grade level again next year. And we'll do a much slower rollout, which will make it much more fun and much more impactful.
Are you going to play the 8 heroes?
Yeah. I'm not sure if we're going to do a map, but we might do a map. We'll see. I want to work with the teachers and see what their comfort level is and kind of their interest level. So
I think by fourth quarter, a little map.
Yeah. A little map. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. We don't need the full Breath of the Wild map.
I did make it an arena. And then there would be meteors that came down.
That's fun.
I know.
That's a lot of fun. So, this year, just continuing in this role, finding success in a lot of the things that I was working on and a lot of my projects. Like, I don't know, I can't ask for much more, honestly, in a position that's fulfilling and a career, like as a teacher. Like, I get to show up each day is a new day and a new problem and a new thing to solve, and you never know what's going to happen. And that's just, my brain loves that. I love showing up to be creative every day.
Well, I got to go to your school a couple weeks ago, right before the end of the year, because your school invited all of this year's high school graduates that graduated from the elementary school to come back, walk the halls,
right,
get applauded in their caps and gowns, And I was invited to come back because I taught these kids in 4th and 5th grade at your current school. And it was unbelievable. It was probably one of the best days in my career.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Just seeing all those,
talking to these kids. There were kids that I like, man, I really hope I see them. Like, I really hope that they're graduating, and I saw them.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic. But then I started talking to them because I was there early, so I was talking to all the ones that showed up early, and just remembering some of these kids and some of the stories. But there was this kid, he's like, Mr. Becker, you still play Battle Masters? I said, yeah. He's like, oh yeah. Remember when I made that one? I was like, oh yeah. You made that one and it was like 2 elements or something. So it was too OP. So we had to take it out of the deck, and he laughed. But just this idea of a kid remembering like that was a good feel-good story in 4th grade.
Right.
And now when he's a 12th grader, he sees me and we talk about it.
Right.
Like, how cool is that?
That's very cool. Yeah. I wish I would have been able to go back to the old elementary school I had worked at, but I was working at my school that day helping run that whole program. So that is neat. Yeah. Well, Mr. Becker, I don't have a quote for you. I know I failed. But I don't think we need one. This is not a podcast with a specific topic, as far as like, there's no quote to encapsulate our experiences. This is just, how did our years go? What are we doing with that information? Where are we moving forward from here? And so, I've been really excited. Now this podcast is, we've released 3 episodes to the world, and the feedback has been overwhelmingly good and positive, and I'm really excited to see where this whole thing goes. So we've got a whole summer of recording ahead of us. You're going to go on a little vacation, and then you'll be back, and we can hit the ground running recording again. And we've got a bunch of cool stuff coming out soon. If you are enjoying this podcast, it does help if you leave positive reviews wherever you're listening, and you subscribe. It helps more people see it. So if you can do that for us, that'd be great. Other than that, I think we're wrapped up here, Mr. Becker.
All righty.
All right. You have a fantastic day.
Until next time.
Until next time.